One thing that successful and wealthy people will tell you is that reading and studying is a surefire way to success. In this video, I'll be sharing 3 of my absolute favorite books on the topic of finances, which helped me to become a successful entrepreneur. 2 quick things before I jump into the video. Number 1, thank you so much for all the feedback on that previous video on the topics that you would like to see us cover on this YouTube channel. We want to make sure that everything we share is as relevant and appropriate for your circumstances as possible. If you have not yet contributed to what topic you would like us to cover, make sure that you comment down below. And secondly, even though we only post twice a week here on this YouTube channel, we send out at least 2 free lessons via a mailing list. So if you would like to get extra information from us, make sure you sign up in the link in the bio. But now let's get into the books that helped me to become a millionaire by the age of 30. Number 1, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This is one of the most famous financial books of all time, and there's a huge series on this as well, but that book in particular is really, really, really good. I go way back with this book. When we were young, my mum and dad in the car, they gave us only a couple of options of what we could listen to in the car. One of them was Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within, and the second one was Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. So yeah, I grew up with this book, and it is still one of my favorites. People have mixed feelings about Robert Kiyosaki because a lot of people claim that he became rich by telling people how to become rich, but he became a millionaire through investing in property. So he still does know how wealth building works. And the storyline is about 2 dads, whether fictional or not, that is still a question lots of people have. Did Robert Kiyosaki really have one rich dad and one poor dad? But either way, the story is fantastic. So it is about the different mindsets of the 2 fathers that Robert grew up around. One that was a successful man that came from nothing, and he was observing the way that this person spoke about money, the way they treated it, the way they invested it, the way that they made more money with it. And then there was the poor dad that lived paycheck to paycheck, was always complaining about money. The way they spoke about money was very different. And you were taken on this journey about these 2 individuals and the relationship with finances and wealth building. And by the end of it, it's very obvious why one of them is rich and one of them is not. For example, the poor dad was described as someone that thought that having a house was one of the biggest assets an individual can have. And rich dad completely disagreed because he said if it is not making you money, it is a liability. So completely different principles. I highly recommend reading it. This book is very much a philosophy on remaining a student and seeking out great mentors, but also just the polar different mindsets that are available. Honestly, finances is absolutely not a game of whether or not you have wealth or not. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but you can give someone that is poor and with a poor mindset money, and they're gonna spend it straight away, and then they're gonna go further into debt. And this has been proven time and time again with people that win the lottery, or there's the endless examples of people that have been self-made. And I honestly think all of it comes down to the mindset. Number 2, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. And here she is. This is an amazing book. It is absolutely my favorite book. This copy itself, I think, is about 20 years old. It has floated around in my family again for years and years and years. I'm currently listening to it for free on YouTube because it is such an old book. It is available copyright free everywhere. It is written more like a novel and a story instead of just information, and it is probably the least boring financial book you'll ever read in your entire life. It follows the story of a man called Akkad who lived in the ancient city of Babylon, and it shares some very simple money-making principles that helped Akkad rise from just being a simple scribe into the richest man in all of the city. The biggest 2 takeaways from the book are the laws that helped Akkad become ultra rich. And the very first lesson are the 7 cures for a lean purse. And the second set of rules are the 5 laws of gold. If you are struggling with your finances, you don't know how to organize them, you don't know where to start, this book is the perfect starting place. It is written as though you're just experiencing the ancient world, and at the same time you're learning these beautiful financial principles. My homework that I've given out on Instagram previously, if you follow us on Instagram, is to just read this for 15-30 minutes a day actively. It is so worth it. I re-listen to this at least once a year. And finally, the last favorite is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is so interesting because he was just a simple man that wanted to learn how rich people became rich. So he went out and he interviewed some of the richest people at the time, which was written in 1937. Still one of the best-selling books of all time in the financial category, because this is the beautiful thing about wealth. I think a lot of people always think that it's the latest and greatest things that you have to do, but it always comes down to timeless principles, things that have withstood the test of time. This book, once again, is written for the mindset of wealth, because this is the most important principle in wealth building honestly. It comes with 13 principles on wealth building. I love this book because it is so holistic. I love books where they can connect to not just, this is what you do, robotic, bleep, bleep, bleep. It takes you on a story, it weaves in different components of being human. To give an example of how very odd this book is, but why I am so intrigued by it, because it just pulls on different aspects of humanity. In chapter 11, it talks so much about the transmutation of the sexual urge, sexual energy, because all humans, we all have this. We are born with this because it is a natural driver for us. And he talks about how in order to become wealthy, you have to master this energy because it is the most potent creative energy of all. It makes you want to do something, it makes you want to create. And if you channel it into the right direction, it will give you fantastic results in business. And I can stand by this myself, absolutely. This book talks very heavily about how to make yourself an incredible human being that is ready to receive extra wealth, how to prepare yourself for extra wealth, how to work with your internal state in order to attract more wealth. The 3 books all touch on mindset, some more than others. Some have very step-by-step concrete steps of what you can do in order to structure your wealth right now to help it start building for yourself. But ultimately, these books are going to rewire your brain and make you think completely different about the world and about finances, and just making it an absolute joy, because it is. Finances are just so nice. It's beautiful. It's a fun journey. I do not buy that it is taboo, that it's a stigma if you have it. If it lands in the right people's hands, money is gold. Of course it's gold. Money can create so much good in the world. And this is why I want to build up as many people with the right intentions in their heart to have cash, because we need great people to have money so we can preserve land, build great businesses that are really good for the environment. So please get your hands on these books if you haven't yet read them. As I have spoken time and time again, becoming wealthy is about learning about finances and mastering this world. It is studying everything you can get your hands on, and these books have been on the shelves for so long, always some of the best sellers. So there is definitely wisdom that is very important there for you to also absorb. If you are a parent, I highly recommend playing this music for your children, even if they don't like it, because it changes their brain. It will literally change their brain. Children absorb so much great information as they're young. It will become part of their structure, which is so nice, because sometimes when you get older, it can be a little bit harder to rewire. But lose no hope, you've got this, because if you're older and you've had financial struggles all your life, you are so ready, you've got a fire behind you to change everything about your situation. So you are going to note down all the information that you hear in this book. Just actively listen. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would like, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn the notifications on. We're trying to grow this channel as big as possible because we think that financial freedom and freedom in general is a human right. So we want to get this information out to as many people as possible, and your participation is so important in making this happen. Please help us free the world as much as possible. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. If you would like to learn more about securing your independence through finance and freedom, make sure that you're subscribed and notifications are turned on. If you would like to receive extra exclusive information from us, sign up to our mailing list at abundantia.co and check out our social links down below. Myself and my team, we work one-on-one with clients all over the world about wealth structures, tax structures, wealth creation, passports, banking, and more. So if you'd like to find out more, go to abundantia.co. She good. She is so good, she is so good, she got skill, she got skill, she got skill, she got skill, she got